Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lili nishmasi mi marosi ruspas Mordechai. Wow, we have a very, very chashuv guest here, Rav Eli Rizel. That's how you pronounce the name?
That's perfect.
I met you first in the famous Nick Shul in Miami. My son davened there when he lived in Tower 41. And first I was impressed by your beautiful voice. Mom, she's an unbelievable voice, beautiful chazan. And the fact that there's no talking there. And since then, came out, there's a podcast with over 500,000 views, 100,000 on YouTube, v'chulu, famous story, made it from prison to being a Magid to being Marbitz Torah, to the whole thing. It's an unbelievable Maisa. I'm jealous of the amount of views, because if we had 500,000 views, that means that many more people coming to Torah. So you have to teach me the trick.
You don't want that trick.
I want. No. It's not. I do. You know what? You're wrong. I'm asking. Yes, correct. I think it's Kedai. It's Kedai. To get another person to learn Torah. You're talking shtuyot now. Rabbi said, check this out. I can't get to my thing. It's not clicking. Chart 3. Oh, you do it. Good. Rabbi said, I'm in Miami Beach. This is last night, just to show you. This is in Knicks. Talking about Knicks, David Solomon. Check out the amount of people. Low-key food. And then not only that, people that are learning, full-time learners. Check this out. It's a matzav. So if you're traveling and you're in Miami, or you happen to live in Miami, you could change your life. Mamish, change your life. People that live in Miami, they told David that it's unbelievable. They did chap and this, and the mamish looking forward to every day. So, Be'ezer Hashem. In Williamsburg, the satellite moved, new address, 164. Taffy, as a pronouncement. Okay. Should have atzlacha. What's this? Oh, there's no video there. To my dear Rebelli, regards from your dear friend and Talmud Moti Winternitz from Westcliff. Huh?
He used to come with me from Baker.
He's the guy I just asked about? No, this you can't make this up. Ari is a witness. After Shir, Ari was by the front door. I called out his name in front of everybody. I said, Ari, where's that kid from that used to come with you? I didn't even chap. This is him.
I called him yesterday. He moved back to England.
Move back to you. I was just wondering about this kid. I didn't chap it's him. Wow, Aryeh. That's the kiss from Hashem. Whom I spotted in shul, learning with the geschmack. Mati repeats every daf at least 3 times. We have Menachos remote. Aryeh used to bring this kid from Beitar every day. So I was like, Aryeh, where's this kid? And here's an email somebody else sent. Wow. From your Talmud, Cheski, Monheit, date of birth, Sanhedrin Daf Beis. Date of birth. Some people have a new date of birth. Rabbi said, just to get the oilam excited about the daf. This is from Nachos. Nothing like bumping into a fellow MDY fanatic. Check this out. You could put on a nice volume on this one.
Rabbi, we're out here, Achai Shalom, Cedarhurst, and it was really cold. I was looking around. I bumped into fellow MDY, Mo Feitach over here. Good morning, Rabbi Isai.
Woo! Nothing like a little energy in the morning. He's coming in 2 weeks, Be'ezer Hashem. We can't wait. Listen to this. Hello, Rebelli. I learned in the Gerah Koil here in Bet Shemesh, and have been learning the Daf with you since the beginning of Seder Kachim. I just want you to know that in truth, Daf Yomi essentially began in Gur. I had a shaila if this was really Ger Chassid's writing to me, and then as soon as he wrote this, I chad right away, yes, this is not a Litvak pretending to be a Ger. You should know that Daf Yomi began in Gur. He's right that when Meir Shapiro came out, the Ger Rebbe was the one that pushed it tremendously, himself sat down and learned it. When the Imri Emes decided to join on the very first Rosh Hashanah, when the first cycle of Shas began, the Rebbe said immediately after the Tish that now we're going to learn the Daf Yomi. Since then, it became deeply ingrained in Gur in the strongest way. Even here in our Koil alone, there are several Avreichim here in Bet Shemesh who learned the Daf with you While we often wonder why you constantly mention much smaller communities and overlook the masses of Gur Hasidim who learned the Daf with you, I just wanted to say that in yesterday's Gemara it says that even Moshe Rabbeinu had difficulty understanding the form of the menorah. This he wrote in Hebrew, not in English. Yeah, until it was shown to him visually. That's exactly what Yeshir does, showing everything in a concrete way through possible to truly understand. Shekoyach, you may merit to add more and more soldiers to Torah with great respect. Your student, please do not mention my name during the shir.
It's definitely a good guy.
Yeah.
Anna Lolas.
Anna va'ana. I said yesterday when it says Anna va'ana, it's a kafel lashon and kachim. It's la'akiv. And by mistake I mentioned his name. No, because I didn't chap that was in the email. I did not see it. I read it. I looked at it. I didn't see his name. And somehow I didn't say his name, but it was on the screen. And people said, "Hey, did you see the last line?" I'm like, whatever. I have a lot of charata, and hopefully they took it out when it was edited. But a bunch of people saw. All right, Rabbi Yisai, the official edition MDY Shas, the Daf is sponsored anonymous. Lili Nishmas HaRabbanit, Maris Miriam Bas Reb Moshe Aleh Shalom. She's Nifteres, Yud Zayin Nisan Tavshin Pei. Daily sponsors Yoni Deutsch. And married my father's your side, Moshe Yehuda ben Yehuda. No, that's not. I don't know what that is. Natan Sultan. There's we once had a story like that, and the guy said yes, that was my father. And he was Nifter before, but I don't know. Natan Sultan, in honor of my boy David Betesh, who just joined yesterday. Stay on the wagon at least a week. Oh, listen, David, your friend Natan spent money and time, and he's worried about you. He's concerned. He wants you to try it out for a few days. Try it out. You'll see. It's good. It's good stuff. What we're learning today and yesterday, these are the hardest Gemaras and Menachos. Everything else is easy. You know what I'm saying? So stick to it. You'll love it. Jason Hacherman, Li Nishmas, our father, Reb Chaim Zev, Reb Yaakov Shmuel Halevi on his 19th yard site, and Refuah Shlema for Yaakov Shmuel Halevi ben Chavo. Anonymous bracha atzlocha mazel for my family and all of Klal Yisrael. Official edition MDY Shas Masechta by the Iranian Levi family's Perik Anonymous. Lili Nishma Zechariah ben Moshe. Masechta sponsor David Solomon. Dedicated memory of Avi Merib Shmuel Baruch ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doi Zechron Levracha. Masechta sponsors Joel Gedalis. Lili Nishmas my father Jack Gedalis. Anonymous. Haslacha Baruch Nis Uvagashmis. The Palchik Family Foundation. Lezech Nishmas Harav Agoy Reb Shlomo Palchik. The Metchetzer Eloi. Anonymous, Refuah Shlema LaMoshe ben Izaha. Anonymous for a complete Refuah Shlema and Arichas Yom to Leah Bas Esther, Yisrael and Malki. Toili Torah's Picho Malfi Zav Chesed. We're so proud of you, Yaakov Mordechai. Keep steiging. Send the Gross family. Canby Island, UK, in honor of Rebelli, who changed my meaning of life. Plenty Almighty. Yossi, Mark, and Benny, and all the Oiskim B'Tzorchi MDY, Kosh Baruch Yishalom Scharim. Monthly sponsors: Ari Simon, Refuah Shlema, Avi Mori, Baruch Ben Miriam, Jamie Azulai, Refuah Shlema, Esther Bas Luna. Moshe Aaron and Miriam Landy, Hoydel Hashem Kitoiv, Kilo Elam Chazdoi. Monthly sponsors anonymous, this Chus Berg that's good and open and revealed way for Yosef Mordechai ben Bat Yulei Omein. Yehudas and Yehuda Lewis as this Chus for everyone in need of a Shidduch Amen. Anonymous, for the merit of Michal ben Yisrael Yosef, success and blessing in all areas of life. By Sprinting Alan Gross, Nishmas Shlomo Zalman ben Yitzchak Isaac, ben Yoman Isaac ben Tzvi Hirsch Shakoyin, for Shlema Yonatan Eitam ben B'Sheva Bracha. Anonymous, for the merit of Refuah Shlema from Malka Baschayo, Centers.com, helping Yidden Davin B'Tzibur with pop-up minyanim anywhere worldwide. L'Nishmas Chaim Shalom Ben Betzalel. And the art for the month, Refuah Shlema Yonatan Eitan Ben B'Sheva Bracha Amein. Refuah Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther. Refuah Hayeled Daniel Zev Ben Ayel Esther. Boisai. We're holding Mamish Gishmak Sugyus Agadata. We're holding like 7 lines from the bottom of Chof Tesam Beis. Omer Rav Yosef. Omer Rav Yosef. Hanitarti Mili Omer Rabbi Svarim. There are 2 halachas that Rav said in the Hilchas of Stam of Sefer Torah. V'tanya Tiyufte, and we have big questions on him. Chada, the first one is Chada Omer Rav. Rav said, Sefer Torah sheyesh bo shtei tu'uyos b'chol daf v'daf yitaken shalish yiganes. If on every single amud, a column. How many columns or boisai are there in a typical Sefer Torah today? Anybody know the answer? 245. How many rows per column? 42. On average. Typical Sefer Torah, 245. Goes when you buy Sefer Torah, they go by the amud. They tell you, I want $1,000 a amud, 1,000 shekel a amud, 10,000, whatever the guy wants. It goes by the amud. So if in each amud there's 2 mistakes, you can fix it. 3, no fixing, toss it. You have to be goyin as it. What's the problem? The problem is shalish yitak and arbe gonas. This is what we stick with. That the amount is 4 mistakes, not 3. Rav said 3 mistakes. You have to put it in gniza. It's really 4. Tana, if there's one out of 245 that's good and doesn't have mistakes, matzelas al kuloi, so it could the Sefer Torah survives. You can fix the rest. He said in the name of Rav, that is that there's not more than 5-6 mistakes per amud. And one of the best out of all the hamudim, this is Noir Vayim. There's a lot of mistakes. If the best column has 3 mistakes, and that you're allowed to fix those 3, is that considered a saving amud? Since you're permitted to fix it, you fix it. So now that it's fixed, it's good, and it's a good amud, and it could save the rest. When can you fix it? If letters are missing. I'm sorry. When is it problematic and only up to 4 when words are missing? If he added a letter here, a letter there, it's not a problem. Why? Because you just scrape it off and you don't have that letter. So what's the problem with missing? So first of all, very interesting. Yesterday the guy promised us that he has a copy of this, so here it is. Here's that mezuzah, v'achalta, and he even puts it in his notes on the side. It says, the owner of this mezuzah kept on eating and never got full. That's a yasser. This is a chaser. Pen yafe levavchem. So instead of yifta, it says yafe. You have a nice heart.
You can't change your mezuzah.
Yeah, right. Correct. Tefillin and mezuzahs, you can't do these fixes. These are all halachas in Sefer Torah. I'm just showing examples of chaser and yaser. So, he says, what's the problem of chaseros? There's an issue of zakeli vamveu, and when you have something like this, look. What are you going to do? You're going to put the reish on top over there. You're going to add a letter, so it looks like a spotted leopard. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look. What's the word I'm looking for? Not symmetrical. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. You get the idea. It doesn't look good. The bottom line is, it doesn't look good. And that's all it is. What? No. Says the Gemara story. Ma'aseh sha'oyo agro chamua de Rabbi Abba havale yiseres b'sifrei. The father-in-law of Rabbi Abba had extra, like 4 letters in every amud. Also came to Rabbi Abba. So the father-in-law goes to the son-in-law. If it's extra, you just take a knife or something and you peel it off. It pops right off, and that's okay. Okay, so that was one halacha that's not like Rav. That what? Rav said 3 mistakes you have to put in gniza, and the halacha is it's 4. What's the other one? You're done with the Sefer Torah. How do you finish it off? What's the best way to finish it off? So lechatchila, you should finish off a Sefer Torah as the last line. The last word should be at the last line, at the last available space. It just fill up the whole amud perfectly. That's lechatchila. Now today, I was at a sefer, and he showed me a beautiful trick that they have. They have this, they have like a, I don't know how it works. I'm trying to think how it worked. It was something with a light that shines, that you put your cloth and you put something below it, and a light shines, and basically you see the outline of all the letters on your cloth. All you have to do is trace it. It's very good, not for the tzura of the eyes, but it's very good for the spacing. You know exactly how wide each word should be. So it's not like you get to the end of the line and oops, I have this much missing. And I have to stretch that reish a lot, and I have to. They use that for tefillin, for mezuzahs. I don't know if they use it for Sefer Torah. Probably. There's different tricks. Some people just take a piece of paper and they put it next to it and they see. There's a lot of things that you could do with today's technology. But in those days, you get to the end of Sefer Torah. Now you have 40 lines left. What are you going to do? Is that okay to finish the Sefer Torah with all that empty space? And is it okay to finish in middle of a line? You could finish off a Sefer Torah even in middle of a page like this. In the middle of a page. You have all that empty space. So the problem is, it says, you shouldn't do when you shouldn't finish in the middle of the page if you're doing like the four chumashim. Ella, when you're in the last chumash, mikatzer v'hoylech atzoyf adaf. You see that you're running out of time. You see you're running out of words. What do? Here, do something like this. You have to get to the bottom. Now what do? So each line you go less and less and less words until you get to the bottom. Then you call Yisrael. I mean, you have to be a genius to make it look like that. According to other sheets, other Rishonim, it's you start in the beginning of the row. It's more like it's the same as the left side, but it's not a cone. It's like a triangle, but a awkward triangle. Like it's okay, you get the idea. The right side is straight, the left side is in an angle. Fine. It seems like Rashi later on doesn't. This is Rashi's picture. Rashi says kozeh. And he said, so it seems like this is Rashi's drawing, but later on it could be that Rashi says a little different. Okay, we'll see. Akopanim. So we have a problem here. How does Rav say that you can finish the Sefer Torah in the middle of a page? It says over here you have to go all the way down to the bottom of the page. You call Rav b'chumashim. Rav said you could stop in the middle of the page. He's talking about in those days. Imagine they didn't have the printing press. Everything had to be handwritten. So you had a chumash at home. It was one volume, Bereshis. Okay, the end of Bereshis could be you can finish in the middle of it. It's not a Sefer Torah. Well, Sefer Torah Kalmar. That's a great answer. But Rav says mafurish the words. Akoisiv Sefer Torah Baligmar. He's writing a Sefer Torah. Says the Gemara, b'chumashim says Sefer Torah. It means we're not talking about a novel. We're talking about a chumash of a Sefer Torah. Very good. That's a nice try. But Rav says Le'eni Kol Yisrael. He's referring to the end of a Sefer Torah. It says Mefurish Le'eni Kol Yisrael. The last words of a Sefer Torah. B'emtza daf, he says it could be in the middle of the page. It says Gemara Ayi b'emtza shita yitmar. We must say he's talking about the middle of a line. In other words, you're finishing it off. Let's see if I even have it here. Like this. The last line, it doesn't go to the end. That's not geferlich. At least he got to the bottom of the page. Rabbanan say it's not a problem that you could go in the middle of the line and you could even go in the middle of a page. Finish off in the middle of the page. No, you can't finish off in the middle of a page. You have to finish off dafka at the end of the middle. If you finish in the middle of a line, that's okay. That you could do dafka dafka. You could finish off in the middle of a line, but not in the middle of the page. I'm learning now the schos that my dear friend's daughter should get into a good seminary. He deserves it. Zok the Gemara. Omer Rav Yeshua bar Abba, Omer Rav Gidol, Omer Rav. Shmoyne psukim shebat Torah, yochid kaira oisam beis hakneses. We're talking about this right over here. The last 8 psukim in red of the Torah. Do not give out 2 aliyahs. Don't try to be nice to somebody and say, oh, it's the end of the Torah, we're going to do a mini, a vice chosen Torah. Oisofis, at that. No. The last 8 psukim have to be read by one aliyah. Why? Because they're different than the rest of the Torah, as we're going to see. It has to stand out that this is special. This is different. It's unique. Why? Kiman, the like Reb Shimon. L'chayra, this doesn't go like Reb Shimon by Yachai. This is Anya. In the Psukim it says that Moshe Rabbeinu died over there. Ask the Gemara, Efsha Moshe Chai, because of Yamas Shram Moshe. How could Moshe write it when he's alive? Elad Kan because of Moshe. So it must be that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't write all that red, all the 8 psukim. Mikam ve'elach kosav Yeshua ben Nun, Divri Rabbi Yehuda. B'ami lo Rabbi Nechemia. So one sheet is the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda and Nechemia, that Yehoshua wrote those 8 psukim. Rav Moshe Feinstein explains that this is different than Sefer Yeshua that Yeshua wrote. This is given directly from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Yeshua was a nevuah, it's a navi. This is Torah. This is different. It's a different level. Something else. Directly from Hashem. Omer le Rabbi Shimon, Efshar Sefer Torah Chasar Isachas. Says Rabbi Shimon Achoy, I don't like your pshat. It's impossible that Yeshua ben Nun wrote the last 8 psukim. If a Sefer Torah is missing one letter, it's no good. Moshe Rabbeinu says, take this complete Sefer Torah and put it in the Aron. So how is it possible it's missing 8 psukim? If one letter is missing, he wouldn't say, take the Sefer Torah. It's not a Sefer Torah yet. It's missing 8 psukim. The entire Torah, it says on the side over here, that v'oimer. It says on the side that Moshe said, and then he read. Then he wrote. HaKadosh Baruch Hu oimer u'Moshe oimer v'koisev. Moshe repeats, and then he writes down. Mekam ve'elach HaKadosh Baruch Hu oimer u'Moshe koisev b'dema. Moshe Rabbeinu writes it b'dema. He didn't say it. What does it mean? Zok Rashi, if I can find it over here. It's out of order for some reason, because I just put it in this morning. Okay, it's in there somewhere. I'll just read it over here. Let's find it. Hold on. It's in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I put it in? Okay. Fine. Where's Rashi over here? No. So Rashi is saying that he was crying when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him he's going to die. In other words, he's not going to go into Eretz Yisrael. He had a lot of tsar. So he didn't repeat it. And that answers the question that it's not a lie. Moshe Rabbeinu wrote it. He wrote it. Oh. The same thing with Yirmiyah telling over to Baruch ben Ariel. You didn't want to say it over because it's the kinas, it's the churban. It wasn't good stuff, so he wrote it. There's different pirushim here, but according to according to the Vilna Gaon, it was something like this. B'dema just means that there's no spaces. That was mixed up. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know what Hashem told him. Hashem said, right, tzaddik, vav, this, that. He just went in a and it wasn't for him to read. It wasn't for him to know. It was there. And Yeshua came and separated. Now, if you take a good look, I don't think it's that difficult to, especially look at the last words. Moshe le'enei kol Yisrael. I guess if you really want to pay attention and focus. But Moshe Rabbeinu realized that Kosh Baruch Hu didn't want him to understand what's going on. He didn't want him to say, you're dead, you're dying. So Kosh Baruch Hu told him, Moshe, but it said, Mem Shinei, Mem Tov, this, and it kept on going. So that's why Moshe, B'dema means that it was mixed, and Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know what it was. And Moshe Rabbeinu wrote it. Yeah, no, I heard a silly joke. I'll tell it to you. A guy was at a levaya crying away like crazy. So somebody came over to him and said, "What? You're a relative over here? That's why you're crying." He says, "No, I'm crying because I'm not a relative here." Last night the Israelis got it. Every Israeli got it. The Americans like, "I don't need that guy's money." Like, what? Why is that funny? Not a single guy got it. Okay, very nice. Okay. I like it. The Olam's on a different level.
Left out the information. We don't know.
I left out the information by the Israelis. They left. They're on the floor.
They still didn't get it.
Maybe because they talk at cry at Levias. I don't know.
The way they do.
Maybe it's not funny. All right. Zok the Gemara. Maybe the punchline was off. Who knows? Zok the Gemara. I thought it was funny when I heard it. Yeah, we said this. Leiba like Reb Shimon. But Akopanim, Reb Shimon says that it's Moshe Rabbeinu that wrote all these 9 psukim. So if it's Moshe Rabbeinu that wrote all these 8 psukim, why can't you make it 2 aliyahs? What's the difference? Why is it different? Says Gemara, if you look at Reb Shimon, no, it could be Reb Shimon. Shtani. But it's different. It was wrote with dema, whatever dema means, with the tears, with it was mixed up, whatever it is. It's different. And since it's different, we don't give it to 2 different people. One person reads it. V'am Reb Shimon usugit. V'am Reb Shimon bar Abba Omer Rav Gidol Omer Rav. Halokeach sefer Torah min hashok kechoitef mitzvah min hashok. Says Rashi here. This Rashi I found kechoitef mitzvah. O mitzvah avad. It's a mitzvah. Because of a mitzvah yiser tfei. If you write your own sefer Torah, it's a greater mitzvah. If you buy it on eBay, you chap the mitzvah. You chap the mitzvah. But it's a greater mitzvah to write it yourself. This morning I remember there's a beautiful Rabbi Yankel Galinsky that every time I hear it, I cry. Mamish, he's an unbelievable. What is it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Magid. Basically, he says that he walked into a shul in Bnei Brak, and there was nobody in the shul, and all of a sudden he heard what was the he realized it was the stipler. And I hope I don't choke up when I say this. Huh? No, he says it was in Bnei Brak. He said it in the shleishim of the stipler. Here it is, I have it here. And he says, I walked in, it was 2 blocks away. Okay, so maybe in the Varda. But the way I understood it, so it's 2 blocks away and in the shul, and he says, "Oh, Ma'alei Shmuel." I'm going to show you how he says it, but I'm just going to tell you what he says. It's hard because it's an older thing, it's an older clip, but it's in Yiddish. Oh, Ma'alei Shmuel Rabbi Yehuda, shinino. The sharp one. Chatoy we should say. The way he says it, so it's mamish, you could cry. You have to chap, you have to grab. Chatoy v'choil, ke almo dazlino minei. Because this world that we are leaving from, kiluli damyo, it's like a wedding. You have to chap and chaparayin. Here we go. Listen, I'm sorry for batching it up. I just wanted to explain what he's saying. Mochamol again. I don't know. For me, it's very powerful. Shinino. No, rebelli. Chatoy ve'choy. We have to chap around. You're at a smorgasbord in what's the name? In the marina. Yeah. You're at a smorgasbord in the marina. Chatoy ve'choy. Gotta chap around the pastrami. Gotta chap around the sesame chicken. We have the Gemara, we have the Chaparain. Life is short. Chaparain. Anyways, it says Chatoif. But what's interesting is that the Ramah says, he argues with Rashi here, La Lacha, and he says if you buy a Sefer Torah on eBay, you're not Mekayim the mitzvah. By the way, it's the last mitzvah in the Torah. Taryag mitzvah is the last of the Taryag, is to write a Sefer Torah. V'lamdas b'nei Yisrael, Simba fame. There's a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah. Says the Ramah, you're not yoytza. According to the Rambam. Now, which one? Yeah, sure. Sashiro Hazois Oy velamedo es bnei Yisrael Toiro Agdoisho Ischanini Bevagosho V'neveituna V'kedusho So, if you, what's going on today, Tzaddik? A lot of standing. All right. If you,
Only to so he chose. You're not going to stand for that.
we'll take care of that.
Take that out of it.
No, we're not taking it. There's people that want to sit the entire shir, so we might be able to have an extra. Okay. Anyway, there's a big inyan to write a Sefer Torah, and if you can't write a Sefer Torah, so you get a shliach, shluch shalom kamoisi. You pay somebody, and he writes for you. There are people. Somebody who was here yesterday said he knows somebody that learned how to write, and it took him 7 years to write his own Sefer Torah. 7 years. Somebody came to me. He said, I wrote a Sefer Torah, and I want to give it to MDY. And I looked at it, it's like, you know, we want the best of the best. We want from a professional slave. I appreciate that you worked on it a long time. That's for you, for your house, and you know. But here's the thing: if you buy a Sefer Torah, say you spend $100,000 minimum on a Sefer Torah today, and what do you do with it? You put it in a shul. So is that what the Torah is talking about? The Lamed is B'nai Yisrael, the Rosh says that the reason why there's such a big mitzvah of writing Sefer Torah is because you write a Sefer Torah and you learn from it. In those days, there's no printing press. You write a Sefer Torah and you learn it. Now you have a sefer in your house. You're going to learn Chumash. Says the Rosh, there's a bigger mitzvah to buy a Gemara than to write a Sefer Torah. That's the Shittas HaRosh. There's bigger mitzvah to buy Svarim and other things. I'm not saying that's the Psak. I'm saying the Shittas HaRosh. Just keep that in mind in terms of donating Gemaras to MDY to people, or there's a big inyan. There's a big inyan to buy Svarim for yourself to learn.
Probably a bigger Indian to be learning than to be writing. No.
I don't know. That's a good. I know there's. I remember there's some gadol that he took. You want to be Mekayim every mitzvah in the Torah. So you're saying it's like a waste almost. Like that's what you're saying.
Learning yourself can learn.
You can learn 7 years. You can learn Shas in 7 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And he wrote a Sefer Torah. But I saw it's interesting you mentioned that. The Mukhi Yosef says, and it's based on the Gemara. The Gemara even uses that lashon, that the harder you work on something and you put the effort into it, and you spend 7 years on this mitzvah, so it means a lot to the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's like Hashem says, now you're. What is that? How did that get there? Oh, stop.
Cameras. Crazy technology.
In honor of Eli Stefansky, we learned overseas. It was very, very nice. It's like, I don't even remember it, Meroiv, there's so many things going on. It's when the guy built the whole Mishkan, and then thank you for, Bemet, thank you for reminding me. The Aylam learned 600 daf in my arm. It's very, very nice. On our travels to the MDY Shabbos of Achdus. On the way to the unbelievable. Bemis. Beautiful. Another 600 daf of Torah. Yishkoch to all the people that were mishtatif. I'll call upon a boyfriend. Yeah.
In the middle.
Oh, yeah, so the Mukhi Yosef says that you're right, thank you. When you put such effort, it's Hashem, you're telling Hashem saying to you back, if you were there, you would be at Matan Torah, you'd be right you made that effort. It's like coming into the midbar and accepting the Torah.
Did you know it was Rev Dolinsky's Yortzeit yesterday?
I did not know. Wow. Really? Beautiful. Beautiful. I used to mention him a lot more often. It's like I haven't mentioned him in a long time. It's like when was he nifter? It's like it seems like yesterday. Ay. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Wow. If he wrote a Sefer Torah, Sinai, he went through the effort writing a whole Sefer Torah, 308,000, something like that, 05 something, words, letters, a lot. And that's what we do today. We go to Ksiva Sefer Torah. If you fixed up a Sefer Torah, even one letter, interesting you say there that you finished it off. It was a Apostle Sefer Torah. You finished that one letter and you made it the Sefer Torah. Boom! It becomes yours, Kilo. Simon Seglam.
Sheshes was the one who said that.
Why?
Couldn't see the letters.
Okay. He saw it at a certain point.
You couldn't see
I
it.
think that was later on in his life. Simon Seglam. Tanrabanon. Oisa the Mirio Mibas Sholish Dapim Bad Bash Shmoina Dapim. A daf is an amud. You know those guys that do the big hagbas. How many amudim are there on each piece of parchment? Minimum of 3, maximum of 8. Don't do less than 3. Don't do more than 8. Don't make them very narrow because that looks like a letter. And don't make them very wide because imagine you get to the end of the row and then you don't know where the next row starts, and you're going to start your eyes start going up and down to catch where you are. Elo kegoin, the mishpuchay seichem says it 3 times there. The mishpuchay seichem, something like this. In other words, that there should be approximately 30 letters per row, including 2 spaces, including some of them are yuds and vavs, approximately 30. Not 40, not 25, approximately 30. Let's say you have somebody's telling me now that he wrote a Sefer Torah and he hired a special guy to get him the Yeriyos. It's a chachma, how to get beautiful cloth. You pay a guy, in addition to the $250 that it costs per Yeriyah, you pay a guy another $30 for each one that he chooses for you. So you have this very wide Yeriyah. What do you do with it? Now, you should only have 8 amudim, but this is good for 9. So you got to cut it. You could cut 9, 3, 3, 3, 7 and 2, 5 and 4, whatever you want to do. 6 and 3, what do you do? You shouldn't do 6 and 3. It's a lot more symmetrical when it's 4 and 5 rather than 6, a larger one and a smaller one. It's all about noi, it's all about zekeli bambeyu. When should you make these very narrow, very wide in the beginning? So something like this, let's say, this is a little narrower. You're at the last pasuk. You have one pasuk and a whole amud. What do? So you stretch it. You go like this. You make it each word like on a line, and it's a stretch. As the Gemara, but that's not good. Pasuk echad so you didn't do the whole page. We said you should get to the bottom. Look how much room there's over there. Says the Gemara, what you do is this. You stretch it, and you make it taller. Each letter is giant, and Bekitzer, he did 12 words, an entire amud. Shir Gilyon, there's a certain shir per the Gilyon, the margin, thank you. And this is all for Noi, should look beautiful. Milamato Tevach, what?
Why can't they slice the urea? At the end,
What do you mean?
you'd have at least 3.
Where are we going to slice it?
At the end,
And then what?
cut the urea shorter.
Yeah, and then what? You're missing a pasuk. You have to put you're missing one pasuk. You got to the bottom, the guy says, oops, I messed up. I thought I had room for a pasuk on this almond, and now I don't. Now I have one pasuk left, so you're going to put one pasuk in one row on top. You're going to have a tremendous amount of it. It looks terrible. Was a puzzle? What do we say at the end? In the middle of the daf, he says, La halacha, what do you say? Shito dafka. Right, that's the halacha. You cannot stop in the middle of the daf. La halacha. So you got to get to the bottom. That's halacha. Okay, so to make it beautiful, here we go. The bottom should have a tefach. Milamala shalish etzbos, 3 fingers. Ubein daf ladaf kimloy. Oh, question here. This is the famous Sefer Torah, the Schanstein showed Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Here it is. Now, I don't see a tefach on the bottom over there. The whole Sefer Torah is this. So how do you have a tefach of a gillion? So what's the answer? The answer is it's all relative. It's all relative. So it has to be beautiful. Like if it's a giant Sefer Torah, you get it this. What? Proportionate. So if you have a travel Sefer Torah, like Noam Fix slept on his back the entire safari, something like this, it's travel. Like, not this, but like that. So you don't put a tefach because you put tefach here, three. So it's all relative. What?
It's not going to Shulchan Aruch.
What?
All these other
To do it for
To do what? To do small. You have to have a tefach.
Yes. It's a hiddur.
It's not hidden. Shulchan Aruch says you have to have it.
No, it's about the Keli Van Veyu.
People twist the Shulchan Aruch and say prayer.
Why? I think it has to be relative. I don't understand what you're saying.
Chavrusa wrote Sefer on this.
Okay? You saw.
Shocking.
Nobody argues with him.
Oh, I did.
That's the halacha.
That well, the Chaturi should have a tefach. But what if you have a small Sefer Torah? What if you have a small Sefer Torah? Okay.
He's saying that kosher.
So the Melachim that carried the Sefer Torah, they had a tefach on the thing. Fine. Back to this. In between each thing, each almud is 2 fingers worth. You see over here, 2 fingers. Over here it's 3. On the top it's 3. Over here between it's 2. Ubechumashim milamata sholish boys, and then you have a chumash at home, like a handwritten chumash. 3 etzbois on the bottom, milamalish etzbois, and on top 2. Ubein dav ledav kimloi revach roichav gudol. And on a chumash, between each one, it should be the width of a thumb. Ubein shita l'shita kimloi shita. And between every row, there should be the size of a row, in between the rows. Ubein teva l'teva, between each word, kimloi ois ktana, like the size of a yud should fit in between each word. Ubein ois lois, and between each letter, kimloi chut asara, as long as you could put a hair's width. Al yemayet odam esaksav. Now, don't. What is going on here? Oy vey, not this. Here. I think it's this one. Yeah. Check this out. Let's say you don't have enough room. You realize you don't have enough room, so you're gonna make the. Imam, it just happened now. Also, kiss from Hashem. I try to give somebody whatever. There's a whole story with the Megillah. The first words of the Megillah were smaller than the rest of the Megillah.
Grandfathers?
No, not Megillah. They have a different thing with the Megillah, but the Sefer started out. The whole Megillah is great. The first words, and the guy opens up, he looks, he's, no good. Whatever. I was trying to do a thing for my chavrusa. He has a Megillah. He wanted to get a 6-row Megillah, so I was trying to do a shtickle trade. And his Megillah had the first words. But anyways, mamish like this. It doesn't look good. Mamish doesn't look good. Everybody, you don't have to be a mumcha. You look, it's a different size. Sometimes you see in a Sefer Torah, the guy is running out of space, and all of a sudden the letters are smaller. Not good. Don't make the font smaller. Because you're running out of space on the bottom. Because you're running out of space on top. Because you're running out of space between the lines. Because you need space between different parashas. If you have a 5-letter here, something like this, so Haminaira over here is 5 letters. This is no good what he did right over here because the majority of the word is outside. This also applies to the 7-letter thing. It's not about how many letters are outside. You can put 3 letters outside, provided that it's a 7-letter word. So 4 inside, 3 outside. The point is that the majority of the word should be inside. As so, if you do Hey Mem Nun inside and Reish Hey outside, that's great. Ushtayim Chuzadaf says Tosfos Omer in Tam the Shem Tzorch Shea Kula B'Sechadaf says Tosfos that the Shem Hashem can never be on the margins. Right? Is that the word, Avi, that I'm looking for? Past the line? Outside the margins. Now I just lost where I'm at. Okay. According to the Daf, at our global, we're your one-stop shop for all your financial needs. Isaac Castle, in honor of all them, the white divers in South Florida, we shall all be Zoicha Matzliach Baruch Nisu V'Gashmi, synonymous in memory of Moshe and Peretz for Siyar side, Chav Zayin, Shvat. Nizdam Loi Teva Bashtei Yois Yois. What if he has a 2-letter word, like the word kale, if I can find it? Here. Now, Yoshi did it based on, you can never put a full word outside of the margin. So we're talking about that little bit is in the margin. The aleph, the little part of the aleph. You shouldn't put it between the columns. Take a look over here. He took the kale, or El. Sorry, it's El Mizbeach, and he put it over there. You start a new row with it. Fine. Hatoya b'shem, Rabbi Yisai, new sugya. Hatoya b'shem. A person makes a mistake with Shem Hashem. It happens a lot. It's a very hard job. You're right, and then you make a mistake, and then you have to throw out everything you wrote. It's terrible stuff. Goyres mashikosa. What do? You wait until the ink dries. He forgot to write Hashem's name. And there's another word in there. So, he did a nice job here. Here. Right over here. Kasher tziva Hashem is Moshe. It's supposed to say Hashem, and it's missing. Right over there. So what do? It's already dry. So you take a knife, whatever you do, and you scratch it right off. Scratch it off. You put Hashem's name in there. But now you're missing the word tziva. Where does tziva go? Tziva goes on top. That's called toila. Toila means to put on top.
Why is that okay? It's like a leopard.
One is okay. We said over there, leopard is when it's 4. Four you say, 4 chasera is a problem. 4, there's 1.
Put one letter on top. There's one letter.
Okay, but it's not, no, minumra means spachi. This is one spot, one place. It's not by the letters, it's how it looks. When you look at the page, you see all these funny things out of line. And you put the word that you cut out, you put on top. Toilet means put on top. Because if it's Hashem, you put Hashem's name inside the row, inside the line. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. By the way, again, like Rabbi Shlomo pointed out before, this is a Sefer Torah, not on tefillin. Rabbi Yossi Omer, tefillin, you got to toss. Rabbi Yossi Omer, af toilin es Hashem. Rabbi Yossi says it's not a problem. You could put Hashem's name on top. So you put Siva, and all you do is put Hashem's name on top. That's a kula. Rabbi Yitzchak Omer, af moichik v'koiz. This is the biggest kula that you don't have to wait until the ink dries. You just take a cloth and you take I guess it smears up a little bit, not the best, and then you write Hashem's name. Rabbi Shimon Shizuri Omer, remember Rabbi Shimon Shizuri is important because we're going to talk about what it said. They say halacha is like him, and we want to know what the halacha is like him. Kol Hashem kuloi toilim. Only if you put Hashem's name completely like as so, Hashem's name on top. Mix also in toilim. If like part of it is in the line, you have a little room, so you're going to go like between the tziv, you're going to Hashem, and then on top go like that. Not good. For some reason, I don't know why, in my mind, anybody that went to Yeshiva Ktana here in Eretz Yisrael and wrote a lot of chidushim, writing over from, you know what I'm talking about? There's a lot of these like words on top. They come. You make like a little thing like this, and you put on top, and it's like even if you don't have to, you do it because that's part of how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Mandy knows what I'm talking about. And you're like fitting in words this way, that way. Kitzer, shtika menumer, not menumer. Later on in life, we didn't have this issue. I don't know why. For some reason. You got to see what they do here in Israel. Every page goes in a plastic. They have like 300 plastics. It's the whole thing. The Rashiva said like this, like, Kol Hashem kulei toilet. Miktzasa ein toilet. Shimon ben Elazar ben Shumir ben Meir ein koizes Hashem lo al mikoim gurar v'lo mikoim machak ben toilet noisai. Rabbi said, check this out. Says Reb Meir, you're not going to erase any word. You're not going to add a word on top. You're not going to. So what do? There's nothing you can do. Take it and put it in Geniza. Misal Ariel kula v'goinza. But you know what's interesting? Think about it for a second. Why do you have to take out the whole urea and throw it out? He wrote a whole bunch of stuff to the right of it. No. So the answer is, if there's in fact 3 whole rows to the right of it, then you take a scissors and you just cut it. Now you have a 3. But if there isn't, if there's only 2 rows to the right of it, so you have to throw out all 3 rows. The point is, we said before, you have to have a minimum of 3 rows. So if it's like number 7, so it's not a problem. You cut what? Columns. What did I say? No, columns. Our boys say columns. I said the wrong word. If there's 3 columns to the right, then you don't need to throw the whole urea out, the whole parchment out. You just take a scissor, You take a blade and you cut it nicely, and you attach another one. You keep on going. But if you don't have 3 full rows to the right, you only have 2 columns to the right, then you throw out the whole parchment. Halacha toilin Hashem. The halacha is you're allowed to put Hashem's name on top of I've never seen it, but you're allowed to put it on top. Somebody said over here that people are makbid on Sefer Torah. I don't want any mistakes on Hashem, on these kind of things. Write me a new one. Write me a new Uriah. The halacha is, and this is how we paskin, you're allowed to erase and write. Why don't they just say straight out? The halacha is like Rabbi Yossi. Umar halacha kemar. The halacha is Rabbi Yitzchak. Because we're not certain that Rabbi Yossi really said he's the one that said this and Rabbi Yitzchak said that. There's some that say that they said the opposite. It was Rabbi Yitzchak that said it, not Rabbi Yossi. Okay. Omar Robin Bar Chanina, Omar Ula says the name of Omar Bar Chanina. Halacha. By me it says Chanina. Oh, that I said. Omar Robin Bar Chanina, Omar Ula, Omar Chanina. Halacha Reb Shimon Shizuri. The halacha is like Reb Shimon Shizuri. That what? Don't put half of Hashem's name on one row and then the other half on top. Put the whole thing on top. Everywhere he says something, the halacha is like him. Ahayo, what does it mean? Where? What are you referring to? This one right over here. You're referring to Hashem's name. They put the entire Hashem's name on top of the row, in between the rows, but not a little bit below, a little bit on top. But we said, in the name of Rav, halacha toilen es Hashem, you're allowed to put the name of Hashem on top. You're allowed to erase and write. And if you write, that halacha is like Rabbi Shimon Shizuri. That what you can't do half and half. Who nami lema? Why don't they bring that in there also as one of the things? The halacha is you're allowed to erase. The halacha is you're allowed to put Hashem's name on top. And the halacha is do not put it half and half. Elaha, referring to this famous halacha. Rabbi Shimon Shizuri oimer afilu bechamish shalim v'charish b'sada shchita asima mitarasa. We're talking about a ben pekua. Rabbi said ben pekua. Ben pekua is when you shecht an animal, a mother, and you find in her stomach you find a live vlad. Comes out and it lives its life. You're allowed to eat it without shchita, because the shchita of the mother is the shchita of the baby, even though it got to live, and even 5 years later, even got to live for 5 years. Our boys say, take a look at this ben pekua. Maybe make it a little lower. I like the eyes of the calendar, please. Yosem, ego. This is Chesley. Dasoi. So you let it eat it without shchita. Very good. Huh? Nechira. What nechira? It's dead. I don't know about that. I don't know where you got that from. I don't know where he says it needs the nechira. I don't think so. But anyway, the nechira means to cut it like this, like slight. In other words, just kill it. You can't eat an avail. That's what he said. I never heard of such a thing. I don't know where you got it from. Prove it. There was a guy in Australia. He can eat anything. There's no treifa. There's no treifa. Now, what happens is if you take a ben pekua and marry it off to another bas pekua, then its children don't need shchita. They don't need anything. So you can have generations upon generations of animals that don't have treifa or anything. So a guy in Australia tried to do it, and they shut him down real quick. It wasn't smart, because listen, it's a big business, the shechita business, the hechsher business. But the Rabbanim said no good. And there's a guy that used to do the shir. I just found out last night after I gave the Hebrew shir, 2 of his sons are part of MDY, and he said, yeah, our father, he tried to open up this farm in Australia, Sinish Gelungen. I wonder why. I mean, it's a genius idea. Yeah. Says the Gemara, no, it can't be this halacha that Shimon Shizuri said. He should say not only Zairi says this, but also Rav and Bar Chanina says in the name of Ula. All right. Let's stop right over here. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.